also began to rain, and much of the Earth's surface was covered by shallow seas. Life, as we know it, began. Slowly, over millions of years, vast swamps grew out of the seas, and then giant forests of mosses and ferns, all competing for life. Plants and animals lived and died, sinking to the bottom of the swamps. They carried with them stored energy from sunlight, now held captive in this decaying matter, buried in mud and sand, layer upon layer, year after year, for millions of years. But the Earth was still young. Land masses were still forming, ever changing. The sand and mud moved and shifted, and as more layers were added, their immense weight created enormous pressure on the underlying deposits, which over time formed various types of rock, as well as other formations, some energy-rich in composition. Huge pockets of natural gas, vast deposits of oil, and countless seams of coal. This mountain, Black Mountain, is part of the Appalachian Mountain Range, one of the oldest in the world. These mountains were formed as the ever-shifting continental shelves of what are now known as Europe and Africa collided with North America. The unimaginable pressure created along fault lines caused land masses to shift up and slide, one over the other, and as a result, mountain ranges were born. Black Mountain was born, reaching for the sky. So what was once beneath the swamplands now surrounds us. The tunnel we are now in once held a rich seam of high-grade coal. Time passed, millions upon millions of years. The Earth continued to evolve. Millions of species of plants and animals evolved as well. And man, with the abilities of reasoning and conscious thought, would begin to relate to the world around him. For thousands of years, mankind would use what was on the earth for food, shelter, and fuel. But with the birth of the industrial age came the need for new sources of energy, a need that would inevitably lead us to search under the ground, to places where vast energy resources have been stored through the millennia. The search for coal would eventually lead here, to this place in the Cumberland Valley, to Black Mountain, the source of a multitude of high-grade coal veins reaching from here to West Virginia. A search for the vast human resources needed to mine the coal would begin as well. Adventurous men who would be a match for the mountain, who possessed the courage and physical toughness required to explore the ancient depths of Black Mountain in the search for coal. Beginning in 1917, this area would become home to thousands of miners and their families. The first to come were native to the region, men who were already familiar with the challenges of life in the mountains of eastern Kentucky. Of these, many were also veterans of the First World War. Soon, thousands more would emigrate to Black Mountain from 37 countries, from continents around the world. Those same continents that were formed when the Earth was young, when the Appalachians first rose to the sky. They built a town and created a community. And for much of the 20th century, they lived their lives and worked here on this mountain. A mountain that would yield over 80 million tons of coal by the middle of the century. For some miners, Portal 31 was the portal to a new country and a new way of life. For others, it was the portal to prosperity, raising their children and grandchildren, some becoming miners themselves, some seeking other opportunities in the Cumberland area and in the cities beyond. But wherever life may lead them, they carry the legacy of pride and perseverance that was earned through generations of hard work and mental toughness. Those special traits that define the spirit of the miner. The living legacy of Portal 31.